Going live one, going live two, going live three. Okay. I still. Oh yeah, there you go. We are brightened. I believe you will be able to hear something. I earlier you guys heard everything I said, but unfortunately, the YouTube I made a mistake. I was actually playing with the many cams, and I think somehow I muted that in the YouTube, and YouTube have no audio. So whatever happened, I went back to YouTube and I was like, that's what I'm saying. I was like, don't fall. Uh, So sorry guys, I may have to do it all over again. There were only like what 12 people, 12, not even 12. I think what eight people, yeah, including me in the live show. There were only guys. Now I think the whole picture have changed. I think people can hear me. Let me check that and let's see. Let me bring this in. Uh, Let me hear the audio. See, you only put this live now. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, now we have audio. Earlier I muted all that, and then I forgot to unmute the whole thing. I think, yeah, So that is my bad. So the problem was, it is the audio is available, but for YouTube, what we do is we take another browser and we actually select what are the audio devices, video devices. So, and I need to make sure that the webcam max is not selected. It is minicam that gets selected. So that's it. That's a mistake. So yeah, all that talk went nowhere. uh, Now, where are we? We need to. I need to show you something, which is how do I'm actually trying to recap the whole thing we did. I have shown how do we actually identify a Creative Commons or copyright free or reusable videos from YouTube. That's what I was trying to do. I should not have closed this browser. Uh, I closed it so that the audio will not show up. So yeah, it actually says the only part is live. I'm going to actually have to show you. What is that? I need to. How do I do this? Oh yeah. It is showing up. Uh, let's see if it. No, this is something else that shows up. Game of Thrones and all. No, yeah, it is. It is. So we have to. Oh my God! This is a different one. Let me transition back to invalid source. So this is where I need to change the desktop and say window to YouTube Chrome. I think it should show up right now. See, there you go. And I'm going to actually move this. Now you can see me live there. Earlier we were all seeing all that thing. This is the real lonely part. If you go into my YouTube, you are going to see all these. Game of Thrones, most of the stuff I say. It's a good setup, their new setup is good. So I'm going to actually have to show you how this works. Okay, I'm going to quickly show you. No, I'm going to detail explain to you what is it we need to do. Say, if you want to find Aquarius June Tarot, see, select Aquarius June Tarot. So when you select this, you are going to see a whole bunch of things, like, I think I may. The one thing I can do is, from 100%, I will actually increase the percentage so that it will be much more, visible for you guys, See, I'm trying to make it more visible. So then what you do is, so let me close that. Then what I do is, I will have to open a filter. In the filter, you select Creative Commons. And when you select Creative Commons, you are going to get a whole bunch of videos. These videos are reusable. Why I'm saying they are reusable? Some other things are also coming in. Aquarius.
Hi, it's Jennifer.
Somebody or Jennifer is actually saying, as this thing. But it will tell you Creative Common Attribution License, reuse allowed. These are the video. You make sure that, just because it is showing up in that search, don't take it and use it. You will end up in trouble. This should be allowed. Once this is allowed, then you can reuse this tarot reading as is. If you want, you can do that, or derivative works. Those are the things you can do. I'm just showing it. I'm not talking about you take this, so because some of the others wanted to use some videos, so that is how a tarot reading will look. So I'm going to actually close all that, and I'm going to come back and take, get it back to myself. Then there we go. See, now we are back to me, instead of pretty looking tarot readers, now you're seeing my face, what a pity. uh, so there you go. Earlier I said, about this. This is something which I have shown, and that's what I do. In case I cannot read something, I actually, increase the size of the phone to 150%. 150 will be an ideal thing. You don't need to use a glass. That's why I don't use glass most of the time. Otherwise, if it is some more letter, which I am reading some book or something like that, definitely it will happen. And another thing I want to really show you is this is let me see if it is still on my phone. No, let me turn off all these apps. There are tons of apps here. Okay. I'm going to show you something else, which we shown earlier. Those 8 guys are pretty much. I think one guy is there. I know that. He should be there. He's the admin today. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring in my. This I needed to turn off the sound. So the sound is off. So what I'm going to do is. I may have to start. This is not allowing me to do. No, yeah, it will. I need to say connect, and it will ask me here, allow. So once it shows up, then I will turn the phone around so that you guys can see it. I'm going to transition it. Now See, what you are seeing is from my phone. See, I'm taking the phone camera in there, and I'm showing there. So this is what I wanted to show everyone. Now everybody is here, so this is very good, because why I said, okay, I do not have space, in one of my earlier show, I do not have space. I believe you can still hear my audio, so I said, see, look how busy it is. See, there are a lot of things, hats, and I may have to find space to put, these tarot cards. Look at this. Look at this table. Where do I have space? See, this is what I said about the totem. See, I keep it like this. The plan is to actually get it through here. So, it's let's see where it goes. Oh, it went the other way around. This is the totem cam now. You see. It went almost there, but then it came back. So pretty much, the poem idea, one of the idea, you may read it. I was sitting on a rock. Yeah, this is the comment I wrote for the lady. You can see. So this is how I start writing something. There is an idea coming up from there. So then there are plenty of things like that written here, and some of them are kept up there. You see. So those are my LP records. It's not a big collection; it's a small collection. That's my record player, which I bought from Boston store. I think that you can always see. These guys are all sitting here and working. I brought. I know that mount I will use. That tripod. That's pretty much it. That's the thing, and you can see I don't know why I don't know what they press. Okay, allow me to switch the camera. No, I think I'm taking. See, now you can see me too. See from another angle. You are double live right now. Um, so that's about it. So I'm going to have to transition back. Okay, transition back. See, that's why this is coming. The feed is coming from my phone. See, that's the thing. So I'm going to stop this. And get back. So that's how I'm going to actually show. So somehow I need to find space in this, massive. I hope you heard what I said, in this whole thing. Otherwise, I will explain. This was you have seen what exactly is going on here. There's so many stuff here. I have to put a rack up here. Can you see the fan is sitting? There. That fan is sitting on a plank of wood. So I'm going to actually put that wood on this wall. This wall right beside me, so that above that I can put some of this stuff up. So all of those things will go up. Not everything because some of them are heavy. Whatever I can put in, I'll put up there. Maybe I'll put one or two more racks and put it there, and that's what we can do. So that's where I start the show. So things that make sense. We need to do things that make sense, and I will have to look into this fantastic chat. That is going on, rolling up and down. There is somebody. One of my favorite administrator is there. He's actually sending me. He actually chooses the right topic or right things. To be actually forward to me. Now I'm seeing a tarot. This thing. We will get to tarot once I get the tarot card. It may take another. I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks to actually get it. I don't know. You guys need to send me the tracking info that you didn't send. That's where things are. So, what is the tarot question? Aquarius June 20 tarot reading, true love period. What exactly that means? True love, I don't know. That's not my thing. You may want to really go and find that thing. Soul Source Tarot. I still have that window open. So I'm saying Soul Source Tarot is the one that actually shows that. So you might want to really go and read, all that. I'm not an expert with tarot cards and other things. So it's not my thing. It's not. You might want to really go and follow up on that. Okay, so now let's get back to our show. The show that is going on here. This is a much more bigger screen, I believe. And I'm trying this because last time when we did the show, there were two mistakes that happened, and I'm going to explain to you. One, when I selected the audio from I can select both. The camera, which I selected, not the live camera. The Microsoft, camera. I selected the virtual cams, so the many cams virtual cam. I selected that, but then I don't know, for whatever reason something went wrong, everything got muted. So in YouTube there was absolutely no audio. Only my action things were there. So then the second thing was not a mistake. Something went wrong, and for maybe half a minute we had only green screens. So I was waiting for things to really recover from that point. So that's not also a very pleasant experience. When you actually look at something and it all going green screen. um, so another thing I want to show you, I showed me earlier. Look at this. This is not really. I can see the rolling LOLs. See, for the time being, when you have to be very resourceful when you instead of buying a complete flask or metal flask or something like that. This is actually a blender. I have a blender. This is a part of a blender. You take this off and you can put the whole thing into a blender and blend the thing and take it out and then put this thing on. So that's what I do. So I'm right now using it for drinking water because people have objected in me using this thing. What's the name of that? Plastic bottles. There you go. So there you go. What now? I can drink water openly, without fear. Where exactly we are with the poem, I will get to the poem, a little later. Uh, I think I should get into the poem right now itself, instead of going on saying about the sensible and not. You see, when you speak out to, especially people who you really honestly sincerely like and love, you should know that there is an amount of understanding necessary about the other person you are talking things to, because in these days, some of the things that I don't know, something I bite my cheek or something like that. It hurt. So in these days, when people speak multiple things and in an almost instantaneous reaction for people you talk to, or who don't really 100% believe you, they will take your phone. They take their phone, start searching for it. I mean, it's not a phone. I mean, they search for things instantaneously, and they get some sort of information from out there. So those are the things. So that is a sensible part of this. So you make sure when people make blunt statements out there, those things are, you should know that, they are going to be instantaneously verified by a group of people. I didn't say this earlier because the reason was, some people were actually making up things and just saying it out loud. That doesn't make any sense. Why do you want to say that? I mean, about somebody, and that's wrong. That's one of the things that came up. Saying that, okay, can we get to a point where people don't come and make blood statements about others and their work, things like that. Um, Especially, when you are talking about classical poets like Edgar Allan Poe, that was the discussion. Edgar Allan Poe's poem, and I was like, okay, this doesn't make. I have read every single poem of Edgar Allan Poe, and I was like, I don't know whether that particular poem was, had an interpretation like that. I don't know. I never thought in that way. Telemarketers, have no this Call from 800-955-6600. You heard that. See, that 800 numbers are all telemarketers, and if that is not a telemarketer, then it is some credit card company calling me, give me money, so. But they don't. They should be calling. Yeah, they should be calling now, because they actually said, oh my God, my something is biting my leg, so when I do that, I'm not doing anything weird, I'm just scratching leg, something bit me. So, or credit card companies, because they said, you don't have to pay. Last month they said, you don't have to pay anything. And I said, okay, then thank you. But this month I have to pay. I think maybe it's time, but it's only like 8, 14th or something like that. I have to wait till. That's a different thing. Chicken and a parachute. Okay. So now coming down to the sensible part, I said again. So make sure that things that make sense should be the ones that are said. Don't say anything insensible. That doesn't make anything any meaning at all for anybody. Okay? What is going on here? The light is fluctuating that badly. I don't know, because I think the outside light is the one that fluctuates badly. I'm seeing myself on it, so now I think it's brightening up. I think maybe the camera. Okay. You see, my action, you see, in that, I'm not doing anything bizarre, okay? Everything is covered up, okay? You want me to stand up? See, I am all covered up. You see, if you look at me, you look at me, so you still cannot see me. See, this is how I look. You see, is there any problem? I'm all belted up. I'm not even wearing anything weird. I'm not even. You see, I was dressed up. I went out. You see. So, so yeah, I was just scratching my leg. So, so okay, I'll keep my hand. What are things you want me to do? I mean, there are rules and everything. If you don't bring rules to me, so now said all that, so the thing that makes, then there is another set of things that should be making logic. Um, what are the things that makes logic? See, logic comes, things that should make logic is a set of things that makes the logistics of an event. So this is somebody taught me about that. What really it means is, okay, you are making this glass. You are making the glass. So what are the things you should instantaneously need for to make this? The first thing is you need plastic. The second is you need metal, because there are metal attachments here, in this, and then you need a glass. So there are a group of people who makes plastic glasses and other glasses and all those things, unbreakable glasses and all. So the step-by-step process of procuring those things, from different sources, and understanding the source and bringing those sources in, and making sure that these things are all available at the same time, and the process that is defined, it's called the logistics with which this is made. So all that is part of those logistics are called a logical thing, because it is part of a set of events, or at least it stands on its own, that makes a logic. So this is where you come down and say, okay, when that logistical thing or logical thing you are actually going to submit, it should be something that works. If it doesn't work, it is not going to make any logic. It is not part of any logic. So when we used to write computer programs, we actually create something like, I just explained what I said. What we do is, okay, we actually initially create something called a pseudo logic. So that means, okay, the logic is actually there, but it will actually create a pseudo code. So that when you look at that pseudo code, you will understand the logic. So that a guy, an analyst like me, I don't go through the entire programming code. I ask them, where is your pseudo code? Some people, these days their programming is bizarre. They don't even write any pseudocode. Old timers like me, we write the pseudocode clearly, so that my manager or my technical lead, usually managers don't come and ask that. The technical lead will come and ask me the question if something is not working. Where's your pseudocode? So we take that pseudocode and look at it, and this is your logic. So somewhere is, if is there any hole in your logic, that you can easily fix. That is one of the ways of doing things. I myself actually written the pseudocode as well as the code. If you do that, those step-by-step process, it makes into a complete logic of the program. If there is something that is missing, then the problem is, that's where the discussion came up. If something is missing from that beginning, that pseudocode or the logical part, something is missing about that, then the problem is you won't be able to identify where is the hole in your logistics. You understand, one logic is missing, so that's why I said, okay, about the logistical part, so I wrote in my description also, yeah, this is what this story is about. Then people who just criticize others, I don't like those kind of folks who just go on criticizing others. I mean, no matter what a person does, it is an effort, and that effort need to be appreciated. Yeah, you may not really, unless that artwork or whatever work is really bad. I mean, it is that bad. I mean, it doesn't work, it doesn't make any sense, or like I said, there are multiple logistical holes in it. So that then you need to actually go and say that is the problem. But this is like taking a work and bluntly, without making any kind of logistical sense, you just criticize it. I don't do that. I don't appreciate anybody doing that. That person you criticized about this was a very young person, budding artist. So why would you want to say that? And then that's why I calmed down and saying, okay, and you are a kid. You have a long way to go. All these people who are criticizing you, they were there once. So now they are actually finding a victim, in their hand. But don't get victimized. So You can talk in a hundred pages. You can write a 100-page trash talk about a specific work, and even if it is bad, like I said, even if it is bad, point out the bad part in it, rather than the whole thing is totally bad. No poem or no prose work is totally bad. There may be bad elements in it, but it's not totally bad. So it should make sense. So everything at the end of the day should make some sense. So I don't know whether very many people individually watching this show from YouTube. I can see one viewer on YouTube. I can see earlier there were like what, two. I don't. Earlier there were many people from YouTube also. Now I can see at least one viewer. Hi. I'm just, if it doesn't make any sense to you, sorry. This is there is a show going on in another website. This is only a recording of that show. So many people understand me better in that side. So you might want to really come back later for another show or something, because it may not 100% make sense to you. So said that it's 25 minutes. I'm not going to waste too much time. This is the second time you guys are seeing. No, not all of you guys saw me. So what I'm going to do is, okay, let me go through the parts of the poem, the blog. I'm going to read out the blog because earlier I did this, so I have some idea about this. I'm going to read that first part very clearly, why I wrote the poem. This poem was written out of a paragraph I wrote about being inside a cathedral and thoughts about connecting divine love to the love of humans to each other. This is a tricky subject, and I did the best I can not to offend anyone's religious belief with this work. I know I'm walking a very thin line, but it looks like I kept my balance pretty well. Enjoy. So, what I mean, let me have some water. This is a tough subject to actually talk about. Uh, Actually, I should not say anything. Uh, what I meant was, okay, there was something which I wrote about getting into somebody sitting in a cathedral, uh, thinking about the love of God and the divine love. And when divine love became completely purified and given, and you receive it, ultimately there is going to be other things in the world, that is worldly, going to come to you, like a good loving partner, sufficient income, or resources to live, other friends and family and everything together, generally giving a happy feeling. So that's how the divine love really is felt. Some people actually say, God is talking to me. That I don't really believe in God like that way, because I don't think God is talking to anyone. So that's but that's my belief. I'm not going to ask people to follow it. But yeah, but nobody is perfect, in that way. So this particular part where I'm actually talking about, you know, the reason is in the poem. When you read the poem, I think I need to read the poem before I can go into all that. Um, so before I go, I'm going to continue doing this, because then there are a lot of things which I wrote. This was written during Ramadan. This poem was written. And this whole pandemic situation going on there. Um, you know me very well. I'm not a leftist, or I'm not a rightist, or I'm not any kind of political ideology. I don't follow it. Some people call me a political centrist, which I would love to be called, because I don't really follow much. But there are times when I lean to to left or right. There are times based on specific policies. Uh, So I have supported Donald Trump in some part of things like tariffs and some taxation, things like that. But in many other things, I really oppose him. And I told, like, this guy is not even eligible to be anything. But he is sitting in White House. So you have to tolerate him for some more months, and before anybody can vote him out. and I cannot tell you that go and vote for somebody else because I do not have a vote. So I have to be, the disclaimer should be there. I do not have a vote, so I cannot tell you vote for this guy or that guy. Okay. I believe the reason why I thought like yesterday I made a post on my Facebook about General Colin Powell, supporting Joe Biden, and I said, okay, soldier and statesman. That's what General Colin Powell is. Uh, he may have got into the political part of things, but I have great respect for this man. I mean, he's a Republican, so that's why I clearly said here is a Republican I respect. Even though I lost some of my respect during the Gulf War time, but he had shown his integrity. He resigned after a couple of years. When the war was a little steady, he actually resigned. He's saying that okay, there are a lot of lies he actually needed to bring up, a lot of things that were made up and gave it to him. He was not in a position to fact check. Uh, and even though many people from outside were screaming, that these are lies, there is nothing like WMD there. But we went in there anyway and killed what 6,000 people, and still dying. People are dying there in Iraq, and then we have like what 40,000 people wounded. Many people are who are not even wounded. They came pretty badly wounded inside. So when you look at all that, maybe 60, 70,000 people completely impacted, and there many of them have lost their family completely. I mean, this post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) is something horrible. Nobody should go through. When before you send and jump into war situations, everybody should think about it. Because the scars it is going to leave is deep and much more damaging than anything else. So, but enough with all that, because that's what I was saying. Basically, what's you can say, okay, this pandemic situation. There are people, hundreds of thousands of people got infected, thousands of people died. Even in United States alone, more than 100 to 105,000 people died already. So that is disturbing. It's you don't know. I mean, when you are in the middle of it, you may not really understand the impact of it because you are pretty much isolated about it. But this is, there are more than what nearly 2 million people infected in United States, with this virus. They are not going to be completely cured. They are going to carry a part of this damage the rest of their lives. I mean, this is something which is very serious. I mean, nobody is actually saying that go out there, don't go out there and don't enjoy your life. You can, but take precautions when you go out there. So those are the kind of things I was saying in it. But then I came to Little Boss because this poem, in its core, is Little Boss. I will come back to the when I read the poem, you will understand because you need to go through the poem to really get it all out. So this is what I'm saying. And I specifically thanked her, because she posted a picture, and I will give you a little more, information about how I, came to it. Because one day, during daytime, I went and slept, and I woke up, and when I woke up and I looked into my phone, I checked her, Facebook, I think Facebook, yeah, and I saw this picture, beautiful picture, and it's like I said, thank you very much. You know what? I thanked you like I always told you when we met in real, because whenever I met her in real, I always used to say, "You look good. you look really good." I always used to say that. It was maybe she took all that as a joke or as maybe I'm making fun of her or something like that. No, she looks good. In my eyes, she is. And you look good and charming. I always said that, and I wrote the following after the idea of the poem. About the idea of the poem was written, then I wrote these things down. I think it is somewhere in one of the papers. Uh, this is what I wrote. Speak now the will of heart. Speak your love to my face, face of mine you see in your mind's eyes. Whither I will not there, for bound to your soul I will live. Forever I will remain bound to your soul. So this is something which I wrote at that time, so and I put it as is, maybe I will elaborate on this on some other occasion, or maybe just leave it there. So I'm going to come into the poem right now. So as I said, the things are in the poem. So let me see, what we can do about this Minicams. So because Minicam is sitting on top of that. So yeah, your chat is hidden. So even if I bring the whole thing up, nobody's going to see it. I think I can just transition it and see whether it works. It works. Okay. A broken cathedral. Walls with Moses filled stood up high, as even the non-stop rain can't cool inside. Lights and candles and heating warmed bodies of believers, even when hearts frozen stayed. Upon the walls, scriptures and proverbs well written, golden old fonts made them mean more divine. And when read out loud, awe mesmerized the hearts. Some even thawed a little and welled those eyes. On her knees she stood, and out her conscience stepped, and to her, like a child, asked, what meanings you learn from all prayers and advice when love unmatched God showed, and away you walked in anger, lies, and self betrayal? With closed eyes, she stayed, and into mind's eyes, child stepped and spoke. The purity of heavens can be touched in love through the path divine showed us, and deep in his words lives the sanctity of love you seek, the perfection of love you see. Bells rang, and she opened her eyes and felt the old fonts falling. The child still whispered, he learned to love perfectly from shine in your eyes, he saw. And no more shall you lie to me about that shine. And verses in his heart sprouted with your face and smile. When out to the world she walked, nothing bound her heart. All she felt was beating of his heart filled with love, and life unfolding with every step she took. Though far away from her, he felt the sprouting love in her. Subdued. There you go. This is why I say there is a little bit of things people can interpret it in a wrong way, in a completely wrong way. But I'm not going deep into that. I don't want you to understand. If you didn't understand it, good. If you understood it, but I was better in reading this guy because punctuations. I didn't really care. I needed to stop, stop, stop at times. I put the punctuations there. I thought it was not there. I was just blah, and earlier it was pretty bad. So at least, we were able to correct that, because of the audio problems. The idea of the poem is basically what I'm saying is, you know, everything you hear, everything you get through your senses is what makes up your mind. See, this is, you need to think a little more deeper to really understand what it is. If necessary, come back and watch the video again. I'm not looking for views, of course, I said that yesterday. But watch the video, because the thing, I'm actually saying, he learned to love perfectly from shine in your eyes he saw, and no more shall you lie to me about that shine. What I meant, this is where the questions really came, what exactly it means. Okay, when I saw her, and in her eyes that shine, that I felt as is a love for me. That's what I felt. That's what I'm writing. That's why I'm saying that perfected my love. That didn't actually destroy my love. That only perfected my love, because I need to love better to actually at least even comes close to the way her love is felt by me. So, and versus is heart in his heart sprouted with your face and smile. Yeah, whenever I saw her, whenever I was able to even say hello, just maybe just hello, and just go bye bye, that's it. Whenever even that, only that small interaction happened, and saw a smile, uh, it helped me to write something, because that's when you really understand, okay, this is your person, this is the girl, or if it is a guy, this is a guy you should be with. Even though in many aspects, it will be a mismatch, yeah, you may not know, but there are factors that can come, age, size, color, religion, all these factors. When you put it all together, it may not be a perfect match, but still there are two people who really love each other. There is that point. And then the thing is, you may have to go back and fix each one of these differences. So that only two people can sit together and figure this out, chalk it through. When when I was young, one of my teacher used to say, sit there and chalk it through. That means, okay, we take a chalk and go on a board, on a blackboard, and start writing things. You write through this, even whether it is a mathematical equation, whether it is a small little poem, trying to meter it, or when you are trying to solve any other things, from chemistry to biology to anything, chalk it through. You write it down. You write down step one by one. You put these things through, and once you have those things, then this is where I'm not understanding something, or I'm losing things. Then somebody may be able to help you. Only then somebody, you see, I probably, it is actually she who can help me, but I can help her too in every possible way. This is logistical. This is not like, you, even if I have $1 billion, and it may not really work. Even if she have $1 billion, it just doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't come together. Two and two will not actually come together. The thing is, we both still need to sit and work through some of these differences of opinions on things. Those are the things which is intended, but it didn't really, not all the intended things will come, but you have to think and understand. That's why it's like, you need to go back and think. But when I said there is a part where, where I'm saying, with closed eyes she stayed, and into mind's eyes the child stepped. What I'm saying is, okay, her own conscience is standing outside and telling her, this is what he is. This is what this man is. I'm actually making that in that way, instead of me saying to her or anything else. I thought I understood. Okay, maybe it is her conscience that should actually tell her that this is the guy you should be talking to, instead of talking to all our friends or family, or pastors, or whatever she's talking to, which is not helping her or anybody else. I have no idea who that is. I may have to call back that person. So now the poem is over, so I'm going to wrap this pretty fast. I don't want to. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The email's also coming. That is work related. Yeah, that is work related. Ooh, that's not a good idea. So I may have to wrap this as soon as possible. So, yeah, when we speak about things like that, the sprouting love. Uh, Yesterday I briefly mentioned about this. See, I told you. Uh, Wilmington, Delaware. So that's something else. So I will get to all that. What I was yesterday, I briefly mentioned to you about this in my side. There was a direct communication program. Uh, that did not resonate with many people, because if I'm going to use your site to directly communicate your thing, this is where I'm going to differ from that. I totally differ. What I'm saying is, okay, I actually post this in a recorded method, in my own account outside of that site. Okay, the you others community site where I do the live show. The recording is not there in your show, in your site. The recording is in YouTube. If you don't like seeing things like that, you don't need to watch my show. You can go and watch somebody else's show or do something else. If you want to watch my show, I'll be doing my show according to my script. Okay, I write the script. I do all the things. I write the poems. I completely tell things from my mind. Okay, so it doesn't work like that. And when it comes to me, I'm a very, very, very mellowed down person. But when people try to dictate things to me, that's when I actually push back. And here is the pushback. I'm not going to do what you said. Say I cannot say this, I cannot say that. I don't care a jack about who you are or what you are or what site I am in. Okay, I don't need to even work with you guys. Are you guys paying me? Are you guys paying me money? Okay, even if you pay me $1 trillion for a minute for doing this, I still will only be doing what I want to do, not what you want me to do. I don't do that. So keep that in mind when you write comments to me, or messages to me. Keep that in mind very, very clearly. Earlier, I didn't really say this because I know those people are not there, but now I know that person is there. Now, whatever your view of a show, go do it yourself. Do it yourself. When you cannot tell me what I should say, I will speak to Donald Trump or Elizabeth Taylor or she's dead. I mean again Middleton. I don't care who that is, whether she's a queen or she's a peasant or somebody whom nobody knows. I will speak to them through my show. This occurred during the Block TV show when somebody actually the same way came and told me, you cannot talk about people that are not in the room. I said I will speak anything and everything. Because Tikirika, that's the name of the girl. Tikirika, and I said, okay, I have no problem talking about Tikirika. Tikirika is an unbelievable pianist. Okay, she's from Germany, and she speaks English though, but not very fluently. But she plays really great music with her piano. So she was doing live shows, and I spoke about her show, and I was saying a lot of crazy things about her. But the thing I actually said something that people may not like is she brought in another pianist who really sucked, even though that pianist was extremely good looking or hot looking, and she was, as it was summer, she was, not in the best of the, costumes, and she's a very voluptuous woman. So, calling me left and right, man. So when all this was happening, I said, like, okay, when pianists, when we look at pianists, most of the pianists are not sitting with shorts and something very close to a bra. And I don't even put pictures of people wearing just bra or something like that on my website. It is my own website. I don't. That's the way I deal with things. So I was saying that, then this all thing came up. Eventually, when we were talking and I shown this video, the same way in Block TV, I was showing the video, this is it. This is what we were looking at. The exact time, Tikirika enters my room. So, and she said, okay, I am sorry, and I was not sensible. And she was very apologetic about it, but her fans were really against it and said, okay, you cannot say that. I said, I will say whatever I want to say. You go to Block TV and tell them, Block TV, when they went and complained, and Block TV said, no, he can say, he's free to say whatever he wants, as long as he's not offending it, and that video should not have been there. And Tikirika taken down that video. The recording, of that video, they have taken down. So in the same way, I will do my show in my way. This is my way. If you don't like my accent or you don't like things I'm saying in my website, that's none of your business. Go and find another show. There are, or do your own show. That's, I'm not going to tell you what you should do. It should not be like that. I'm not going to. But if you watch the show, you don't like the show, you don't have to watch the show. Just stop it. Stop the thing then and there, and end of story. So that's where things are. Not going to prolong this show because people are calling me left and right. They need something from me. That's when they call me. So last two calls I should have answered. So I'm going to wrap the show here. I believe that this whole thing is going to work, and I don't have to do it a third time. The poem's name once more is, I don't know whether I have already said that. Okay, a broken cathedral. The reason why I'm saying it is a broken cathedral, okay, like somebody asked that question too. Uh, a broken cathedral. That means this inside the person's heart is that cathedral. It is a prima facie metaphorical thing. But I may have to say that things were falling apart. That cathedral taking down inside that person, in which everything that person actually holds is true may not be 100% true. So that's why I'm saying, I think in the beginning I said that we actually receive or understand something through what our senses. That sense at times may not connect properly, and then there will be a problem. That is where, when you have romantic differences between people, when romance, really, really, really kick off, even though there is that resonating feeling between two hearts, the romance may not really happen because there are a lot of things which you may think as differences. How you fix that? You need to sit together and talk through this and see whether you can bring everything onto the same page. Even after that, I have seen from India to United States to many other countries I have visited, I have seen relationships, when people were not able to, there are 20 different things where they don't agree, but they actually go through this, talk through this, and figure out, okay, so 18 of them, they can find complete compromises each other. But there are two things they cannot agree on at all. They live with that the rest of their life, So I'm not saying that, okay, I agree to disagree on those. When that happens, back off. I have seen my own dad and my parents, they never fought in front of us kids. I think I mentioned this many times in my shows and wrote in my blog. They both never fought in front of us, even though they had their differences. When I was young, I always was saying that, okay, they didn't fight. But after the death of my father, my mother actually said, "Yeah, we had our differences, but we kept it away from them. That was the policy. Keep it away from the children. Their arguments, their whatever fight they had, away from everything. Children need not have to know about it." So they kept like that. So the thing was, we had a fantastic childhood. We were not afraid that everything is falling apart or something like that. So that's the best you can do. That's how things need to be done. I mean, my aunt and uncle, they had their differences when they and but my uncle, my mother's sister's husband, he was a very enterprising character. He also they both passed away, but they they had their marriage, because he married her when she was 13 years old. In those days, because they married, back in the 50s, 40s, end of 40s, 49 or something like that. They married. They both passed away. Great couple. I mean, and he married her when she was 13 years old, and they didn't really took her. They married, and then they had some. At that time the romance was like, come there and give a letter, even though it is his wife. He can officially take her, but then waited until she finishes her studies and everything. And if she was like 17 or 18, then only he took her as wife along with him. So their understanding was tremendous. I have seen him. He was a very prominent lawyer. He sits in this office. There is an office. There are people like 30 people always standing in line to actually have a meeting with him. He was such a busy attorney. I mean, so from inside, she will say this word, they. That means it makes very little sense. They means there. Are you there? It is something that that sound. The moment she says they, that he will stand up. and he'll walk right into the house because he knows she needs him. I mean, such a busy man. And, in the same way, your understanding about him was, when he's saying penne, that means, okay, that's what he calls penne, that means a girl. That means he is serious. The understanding, when he calls that, she was a very heavy woman. She was very heavy. She stands up and walks all the way there to him. That means, okay, he needs her. So that understanding is not that easy to build. It takes time and being together. They both said, oh yeah, we had our differences. We had our arguments. But we argue and to understand rather than we argue to to break out. We stood together. How can we get together? How can we get a thorough understanding about whatever matter that comes in? How can we do that? And such understanding can only happen when two people sit together. This is why, time and again, I even gave a personal message saying that we need to come together and sit together and understand, okay, where are we differing? What are the differences? What can we do to stick together? And even with those differences, we stick together. What points we can agree on, what points we can disagree. Then we know these are the things we need to work on, which we disagree right now. Down the road, we can work through this and have a thorough understanding and agree. So that's where I'm going to wrap the show. So understand. This poem basically was saying that that conscience is the best way to actually speak to a person. So that's one of the tools you can use. I don't mind it. I'm not going to say you plagiarize my work, but don't take it word to word. But that technique which I use, where the conscience is going to come and speak on behalf of me. See, that is because I'm not right in front of her as an advocate, in front of her. So I have to use her conscience instead of me somehow, going and walking into the cathedral or, some tea shop. That's not going to work. Right now, my voices are breaking down. So I'm going to actually wrap this and nearly an hour. That's what I thought. Okay, I can push it all the way to the hour. But, here I'm going to end it here. Like I said, once more, everybody who is here, there are plenty of people there. Everybody should. I'm not individually bringing your names and other things. As long as that is not happening, okay, you have no say in what I'm actually saying, doing in show. I don't do that. I don't even, I call the girl I like Little Boss, and I only say her that in my show. Hardly anybody knows who is Little Boss. Like Mokushla. Mokushla is my, many people saying they ex. I don't really agree on that. We were not, romantically, seriously involved. We never met in real. Things like that was there. But Mokushla, her name is different. I mean, her real name is something else. So I won't say that. I clearly told her that I will not mention your name in any of my blogs because it is her privacy. Some people can go and talk to her. And once it happened, that's when I decided I should never mention to my friends, other than these nicknames I make up. Some people don't like it. I mean, I know that. They think that I'm labeling people. No, I'm not. Little Boss is something which I want her face. I told her, okay, once I told her, she asked, okay, is that what they are calling me? So I said, no, I think, you are my little boss because, she was the assistant to my real boss. So she thinks, so you are the little boss, so it's all cool. If it is not cool for her, she can tell me. She's the one person who can object and say, okay, yeah, don't say anything like that. If she says that, then I will stop. Yeah. Other than that, no. Nothing like that is going to happen from me. Anyway, 59 minutes, and I'm going to wrap this. I think I may go and if you watch the continuously through my den cam, you may see me falling asleep here because I feel a little dizzy and sleepy. It is, I had best lunch. I made good food, and then I need to go. So. And it was very nice. I will give you the recipe later. I tried a new recipe, much more healthy way of cooking the beef. I have 30 seconds to eat the 1 minute, 1 hour mark. The thing is, I cook beef without oil, without onions, without any vegetables, but I use something that can actually lubricate the beef. First of all, it has its own, fat coming in, coming from it, for so people should understand that is something which you should use, and then you can add something to it, which is the key ingredient that will make it very, very awesome. 1 hour, we are done. I will give you the recipe to all of these guys. If somebody needs it from YouTube, you may have to really message me personally because I'm not going to put it out into the YouTube. Maybe someday I will do a cooking show. But it took nearly an hour, 15 minutes for me to really get everything done. So maybe I'll do a cooking show. Yeah, the poetry cooking show. Have a great day, everyone. Okay, see you later.